So this is 2003 to 2004, my college junior year, I guess. It was like the first or second of August 1st or second of 2003, and Ray called me up, and he was like, he said, Jay Z, 50 Cent, Sean Paul, Fabulous, Busta Rhymes, etc. Like the greatest names you could think of, like during this time, like '03, whatever, having a concert like right there in Houston, you know. And so he was like, "Man, we should go to it," you know. So I went to my parents' house. I bought the tickets online, and yeah, because we didn't have the internet at Timber Ridge or whatnot. Internet wasn't accessible as it is today, and yeah, the next day, Ray can't pick me up. By now, he has his Montero Sport and really nice SUV. He's like the first person with an SUV, like out of all of us, you know. And we left, but we went to Houston first before we went to Beaumont. And went to this clothes place that Kendra told me about, kind of like this outlet or whatnot. And it was like this two-story building in Houston. And I finally bought me a Lacoste shirt with the little alligator thing on this or this side, whatever side, you know, whatever. And and I bought some blue lug boots. And I just remember like as a kid, like I used to wear Lacoste like all the time. Like you used to get like Lacoste from like Walmart, you know. But then like I want to say like Jay Z or some rapper had brought it back, and then they were like $80 a shirt, you know. Um, yeah, we left Houston to go to Beaumont. Now, I remember when we was leaving, two things happened, which is not important at all. Just popped in my memory as I was talking. That was the first time I seen the 600 Benz in real life, and and when we were coming back, we ended up hitting a tollway, and none of us had any type of change, and there was no way we was gonna go in reverse and get off somewhere, you know. And I remember this lady that was like on the other side ended up giving us like 4 quarters or whatnot to go through the tollway. But anyway, random memory. We made it to Beaumont, and it was at the Ford Arena um, Pavilion or whatnot. And we had seats like way at the top of the pavilion, like the worst seats you could probably find, like the $20, $30 people seats, you know. But I was with Sneaky Ray, you know. So we will watch the little security guy go left and right, and we will ease down until like the lower seats or whatnot, you know, from like the grass to like actual seats. And I remember seeing Jay Z live. Like I always been like a big Jay Z fan, so I started listening to rap. Not to like turn my head to the right because I didn't want Ray to see me cry. Because I was like so excited to see Jay Z. You know, I was like tearing up and stuff. You know, I remember Terry Jones and Ian Cook. They didn't actually come to the concert, but they met us at the concert because I guess they wanted to come to the after party or they was riding late. I don't know what the situation was, but we all went to the after party at the Holiday Inn in Beaumont, and I found it weird. Like I was standing next to like a famous rapper at the time, still probably now, whatever. Not as big as he used to be. Named Bun B. His party group UGK with Pimp C or whatnot. And he asked the girl for her number. I'm like, dude, you like Bun B? Your your sidekick is Pimp C. Why are you gonna ask a girl for that number? It's like a girl that I probably got a number from. Whatever. That was just weird. And I remember Ray wanted to shoot dice, like like by the bathroom. And the thing was, it's just Ray, Ian, Terry, and me. You know, inside of a city, we have no clue. You know, if somebody wants to bring out a gun, somebody wants to jump us. Who was done? We had to like basically pull Ray away because Ray loved his gambling, whatnot, whatever, and loved money. You know, gambling, gambling even matters, you know. But yeah, we had to pull Ray away, and we eventually talked him out of it. And Yeah, because we had no chance in hell if anything had broke out inside of Beaumont. Uh, Random memory. From there, remember we stopped by Jack in the Box and I was on the phone with Lori, and Lori asked me to get her one of those little, some type of toy that Jack in the Box has. I don't know what it is, but yeah. Um, but I remember Timber Ridge, the apartment we were saying that, the cylinder started leaking. And the office was like, we'll fix it, you know? Don't worry about it. And so they sent over the maintenance man, and he just dropped the bucket. Like, just laid a bucket, and it was like it was in the kitchen, dripping water, and he just put a bucket under the dripping part, and he left. And I was like, okay, he's gonna come back and do some extra stuff, you know, sheetrock this thing or whatnot. Nah, he just dropped the bucket. And weeks went by, still nothing. And I remember I was sitting there one day playing Grand Theft Autos. This was the Vice City. It probably came out like a year before this or whatnot. But I remember playing Vice City or whatnot. He opens up the door. He walks aside. I'm like, okay, cool. He's about to fix this thing. He grabs his bucket. And he jets out. Never seen the guy again. Not only they didn't fix it, they took their bucket back. And so that was it. We went to the office and we was like, we want out of our leash, you know, because y'all not taking care of stuff like y'all should be, whatever not. And she tried to fight it, but Dennis talked her out of it. So we got out our lease with our and pay or whatnot. And at this Kenneth and Cole were looking for an apartment for themselves, you know. First we had a plan all four of us staying together. And then Dennis was like, I'm not staying with Cole again because I guess Cole has his rules, whatever. He lived with him before, so he know more about Cole than we did. And Dennis, I found his apartments by Moss Regional, and they run down now, but at the time they was like really nice, and they're like $840 a month, $840 a month or whatnot. And there was a townhouse with like these spiral stairs. And that was like the only cool thing about this place was the spiral stairs, you know. And but Ken and Nicole was like, check out Le Chateau apartments. And we were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We already had our mindset on the spiral stairs when, you know, it was like, we'll go look at these little cheap stuff, you know. But we checked them out. It was more space for like half the price. It's probably only like 400 and some dollars. Like a two-bedroom townhouse with way more space inside of it. And we immediately signed the papers at Le Chateau. And it was near McDonald's, so we have like access to the internet because we don't have internet at the time, whatever. So we'll go to McDonald's and they had like the computer set up or whatnot. And I remember after we moved in, we went to Walmart for decoration and we found this lion painting. Very, very generic as you could think. And so we ended up buying two of them, two of the same exact paintings. And I remember like in between moving, like I had like one feeder fish left, and from Timber Ridge or whatnot, and we had drained all the water out, and I thought we had like no more fish inside there, and then when we poured the water inside, I want to say it's like a few days later, maybe a week later or whatnot, a fish just comes swimming up from the bottom of the rocks. I had no clue how this guy survived those many days without any water. Barely any water because probably only this is barely touching his gills or whatnot. The water's barely touching his gills. There's barely any water inside there. He came swimming up and Dennis was like, "Did you buy a fish?" And I was like, "No, I didn't buy no fish." He was, we was both just shocked, you know. And so we just called that little dude gangster, man. He ended up staying with us for a while. He ended up dying like during a hurricane at Dennis' dad's house. I don't know how he died. Whatever. That dude survived the most horrific situation you could think about. We hooked up our GameCube to the downstairs TV, and we had a lot of amazing battles inside Mario Kart Double Dash. Mario Kart Double Dash with Kenneth. And Ken would always come in first. Dennis would come. Dennis and I would battle for second. But as long as you was behind, I'm not good at video games at all. But as long as you was behind Kenan, I was gonna tear you up, you know. So if Kenan was closest to me, I'll tear him up so Dennis could get first. But that rarely happened. It was always Kenneth, Dennis, and then me inside of Mario Kart or whatever. And then Dennis always blamed me, but step your game up, you know, play a little better. Uh, Dennis had a membership at LA Fitness. It was like walking distance from Lake Chateau or whatnot. And we did this crazy game inside the steam room. I hate heat. I don't even know why I played this game, but it was to see who could stay inside the steam room the longest. And of course, I lost a bet. I mean, like 30 seconds within that thing, I was out. You know, and Ken would come visit us a lot. Didn't care because he was very fun to be around. You know, and he was friends with both of us. And eventually, Ken was staying out too late. And his mom's and pops was like locking the doors. It was like if you're not home by a certain time in the morning, you know, you can't get back inside. So a lot of times Ken would have to come back to our apartment, whatever. And eventually Ken moved in downstairs. The two bedrooms was upstairs. We had the couch, the living room, kitchen, all that stuff downstairs. So Ken was allowed to sleep. We let Ken sleep on the couch or whatnot. And Kenna, Kenna, Dennis, and I would go. We not a lot because it was mainly like Dennis and I. But one time Kenna went with us to bingo, and I was Dennis had like four sheets. Kenna and I went like half on like a $5 sheet, you know. Um, and I was just joking around, and I was like, "Bingo, bingo," you know. And they were like, "Well, we got bingo. Go up there." And I was like, "No, I'm just joking, whatever, like that." And then all of a sudden, um, the last one came out where you have to black out the card, whatever, for the big $1,000 bingo, whatever, like that. And I was just tapping my thing, not really worried about it, whatever, like that. And then I actually blacked out my board, and I won $1,000. And I remember walking up there, and Dennis was jumping up behind me, and I was like, "What you jumping for?" You know, you didn't go half on this car. You know, that was Dennis, that was Kenneth and I wins or whatever. And I remember the old dude, he was hating, man. I guess he was young and black, whatever, like that. He was like, "I can't pay you $1,000 unless you have your social security card with me." And luckily, I put my social security card on my license or whatnot. And yeah, he was mad when he had to sign that check, but whatever, you know. And yeah, that was a pretty cool night. Uh, oh, Dennis bought this annoying bird, and he loved he loved this bird. This bird loved him, whatever. And I never trusted public apartments washaterias. So even every apartment I stayed inside, I'll put up all my clothes for like the week, and I go to my parents' house and wash and dry and bring them back, whatever, like that. And so this one night, I was feeling cool, man. It was like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, whatnot. And I was like, because the stairs was like very like steep. Like this is like the bedroom. This is like you walk down the stairs, and then to like the left is the kitchen. To the bottom is like the front door, whatnot. And so I was like, I'm gonna surf down these stairs, you know. So I put my clothes, my hamper. Hamper's pretty big, whatnot, you know. And then I stood up inside of it, and I was like, if I could just keep my balance like this, I could surf all the way down to the bottom of the stairs, you know. And yeah, that didn't go well at all. I maybe made like 5 steps. If I'm standing up like this is my feet, this is my head. Next thing you know, my feet was like facing towards like the ceiling, and then my head was like, it said boom, like right on the back. I hit like the back of my head, like my occipital lobe, the part of your brain that's used for seeing, and all I remember was literally just blacking out. Like I was like, I thought I was blind at first, and then like all I remember when I came back to consciousness, like when my vision came back or whatnot, I just remember hearing that bird squawking in my ear, and like the back of my shirt was like full of like some seeds from, because you'll chew it and you'll spit it out this little cage or whatnot. So it's like the shells of like seeds, whatever, like that. And I was like, I had like this strong hatred. But I ended up still going to my parents' house, talking to my mother, and woke them up, and told them what happened. I just told them I couldn't see inside of my right eye, and I could barely see, whatever like that. She's like, "Well, I'm gonna take you to the hospital," and I was like, "Nah, nah, nah, I'm cool, whatever like that." I don't think I told them exactly what happened. I just told them like I just couldn't see or whatnot. And then yeah, back to the old crazy bird. One day Dennis was bragging about the love his bird had, and I said, "Man, that a bird only stay with you because he trapped inside of this house." I said, "If you leave this house, go outside, he gonna leave you." Then was like, "Nah." He said, "Look, I could push this bird away. You'll push it away, and they'll walk, and then they'll come back like to him." And then he was like, "I could go outside with this bird. This bird is never gonna leave me." And I was like, "Okay." So Kenna was there. Dennis I was there. And we all went outside. Dennis went outside, all proud, his little chest pumped out with his little bird on his shoulder. Next thing you know, the bird just flew. And it went on top the we had like this open carport type thing. He flew there, and he was like, "Okay, I could get it from here." So he was reaching for it, trying to like stand on top of his car or whatever and get it. And then when he got closer, the bird flew to the top of the apartment. So it was like a 2-story apartment building, and it was just standing on the edge or whatnot. And I was like, "Well, it's probably the end of this bird because it got total freedom right now." And then Dennis went to my balcony, which is crazy. Like, he tried to stand on the rail of my back balcony and then like climb on top of the roof. I don't know how far that boy made it. Maybe made it to the top of the roof. I don't know. But I remember we had to he kept yelling help for him to get him down. But yeah, that was the last time all of us seen that bird. Um And so since I moved from Timber Ridge, so Megan didn't know where I stayed, I said I'm gonna double down on this. Um, I said not only am I move, I'm gonna change it because what if she had like a friend that lived beside there and she'd have seen my car, she was like, "Oh, that's where he stays at now." So I ended up switching my Nissan Sentra with my dad's red burgundy Sonoma truck. Oh yeah, and we started planning on going to the Kappa beach party because we went last year. Um, the beach party for 2004, and Ken had this friend named Lance. He would come over sometimes, whatever like that, play video games. He was good at Dead or Alive or some other games. But he just come chill. Real cool guy. And sorry if you listen to this, Lance, but but one day Lance was like, "Hey man, y'all going to the Kappa Beach party?" Now we've been planning on going to the Kappa Beach party since last year. We are extra planning on it right now because it's coming up in April. And we were like, "Nah, we're not gonna do the Kappa this year, whatever like that. We just want to be us three. And he was like, "My homeboy got a beach house that he gonna let me borrow if I can make it to the Kappa Beach party." We were like, yeah, think I think we might go. You wanna roll with us, Lance?" And Lance was like, "Yeah, cool, whatever. And so we drove out that Friday like normal, you know. Dennis and I went inside of my truck, and Kenneth and Lance was inside of Kenneth's car, or whatnot. And Kenneth wants to be back for Sunday because he said he has to make it to church service. He was real big on church, still is. And we're like, okay, so if we decide to stay till Sunday, you could leave or whatnot. And that morning, we'll stay like the rest of the Sunday day or like sleep in or whatnot. And so Dennis and I get there first, whatever. And we parked on the road, like waiting for Kennedy and Lance to get here so we could get the keys to the beach house or whatnot. And we're sitting inside the truck inside this random neighborhood, and this Mexican guy comes. He probably look about like 25, 26. We're like 19 at this time. Haven't made 20 yet. It's 2003, yes, before my birthday came, because it's like April, middle of April. And so he tapped on the window, and he was like, "Hey man, get out, get out. I need to talk to you," whatever like that. And Dennis pretended to be asleep because he was scared. And I was like, oh man. So I get out the truck trying to be cool. So I was like, man, if I stay inside this truck, if you end up pulling out a gun or something, we just sit and ducks, you know. And he was asking me questions, you know. And then I could hear the doors lock. Like Dennis locked the driver door and my door. Punk move, whatever, you know. And so he said, man, look at this video. It's my girlfriend, and she beating this other chick's ass. And when I'm watching the video, all I can imagine, like staring down at the phone and then his fist knocking me out and taking my wallet. You know, I don't know, because he just looked like one of those Mexicans you'll see like from like a gangster movie, you know. And he was like, yeah, this is my girl beating this other girl's ass, you know. And his girlfriend showed up. She started walking. This beautiful, beautiful Mexican girl. And I was like, "This is you," you know, inside the video, because it was something like a little camera. It wasn't a camera phone; it was a real live camera. And so she was like, "Yeah," like this, like real proud face or whatever. And like once Dennis seen the female, I guess he felt it was safe. And so all of a sudden he ended up walking out of the vehicle, and he comes outside. You know, he wakes up miraculously, and then while we standing there talking and whatnot, this like Vato, like if I thought this dude looked a gangster, like this guy was like super gangster, like bald head, tears in his eyes, the clown tears, like tattoos all on his arm, like these suspenders, like the most traditional um Mexican gangster you could think about, you know, like no shirt with like the little suspenders, whatnot, and like the little dicky pants and the Chuck shoes or whatnot. And he was like, "This is my homeboy Joker. He's a real vato." And yeah, Joker came up and he walked to us, you know, and he was like, "Yeah, he just got out of jail." He said he probably still got a shank on him. And he pulls up his shirt or whatnot. And he was like, "You know, I don't go anywhere. I don't go anywhere without my shank, man." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So I felt safe because the chick was there, even though she would probably knock me out too, you know. But yeah, they invited us to go walk with them on the strip, but we had to wait for Kenneth and Lance or whatnot. So Kenneth called and was like, "Lance doesn't have the key to the beach house," and we were like, "Bruh, like, are you serious? You know, like this is the only reason why he got invited, pretty much." And we have a shit ton of clothes to stay for the weekend, and we have like nowhere to stay, so his clothes gonna have to stay inside the vehicle, or whatnot. And then Kenna kept just assuring us like, he's gonna get the key or whatnot. Dennis was getting upset because you know we have all this stuff, you know, and we had already planned for to stay throughout the weekend instead of like driving back home and then driving back or whatnot. And then we were like, it was like let's just go to the strip, you know, because they were still like waiting on the guy to give him the key, like in Lake Charles, you know. And so Dennis and I went to the strip, and we ended up parking at moving from that little area, and we ended up driving to like this local store or whatnot, and parking there, and so we was like, man, I just hope they don't steal our stuff, you know. And I was like, oh man, not the boots, and it was the blue lugs that I had bought earlier that year when we ran out to that concert in Houston. And those blue lug boots or whatnot. Dennis ended up taking from me like later on. I ain't never seen them boots again. Uh, Eventually, the guy with the beach house, he came. It wasn't like Lance. Lance was saying that he could get the key, and then we all could sit there, you know, chill there for the weekend. But in reality, the guy was like, "I'm gonna be there too," which of course I trust him. I mean, I understand, you know, you don't want some for the random guys staying inside your parents' beach house or whatnot. And yeah, they showed up. It was him, Ken and Lance was inside one car, and that guy, his girlfriend, and another guy came with him, whatever. So we drove to the beach house to set our stuff up. You know, it was really nice and whatnot. And when we went back to the beach, we ended up connecting with the Mexicans again, the ones from earlier, and they were like, "Hey, come walk with us." And I was like, "Cool," you know. And then it was like, bro, you tripping. And I was like, what? What do you mean? He was like, bro, you don't know what type of danger these people then got themselves into, like another gang or just a random person. He said just by us walking with him, they gonna shoot him, and they gonna shoot them and both of us, you know. And I was like, you know what? You're right, you know. uh, yeah, because we've just been guilty by association, and so we made our little bullshit excuses and whatnot, and we separated from them, and we ended up going back to the beach house to sleep. It was that Friday. This is that Friday. Yeah, yeah. So we ended up just going back to the beach house just to sleep or whatnot, and then this everything jumped on the couch because there's only one couch. They had like two bedrooms, whatever, where like those three people were staying. Lance was staying, whatever, like that, or three bedroom, whatever, like that. But we had to sleep in the living room, you know. And so there's only one couch, and Dennis Harrington jumped on the couch, you know. And so Dennis, Ken and I had to hit the floor. And all I remember, like the whole night, like trying to sleep because Ken just kept snoring so loud. Oh my god! And I remember the next day, I remember waking up, staring at Dennis in on the couch, and just shaking my head. I was like, this guy here. So I'm pointing at Kenneth from his snoring, whatever like that. He was still just knocked out. And Lance came out the back, and he was saying the most random curse words, like 5 or 6 curse words that never went together. And it's because he was so cold. And Dennis Ken and I, we was just used to the cold because we would just walk inside the apartment and just hit the thermometer down as far as it could go to sleep or whatever. And but honestly, it was a lot better experience than Natchitoches inside that hot house, man. And Lance had a friend. He did like, cause Lance was really good with making beats and music or whatnot. And had this white friend named Lil Rick, probably blacker than me and Dennis put together. Real cool guy, man. And I remember his ringtone was that Halloween, or whatever the song was playing. And we were like, this dude got like the Halloween as his ringtone. And he was like, oh no, it's my girlfriend. So he had the Halloween ringtone, like a horror movie for his girlfriend. Thought that was funny, whatever. And then we all left for the strip. Had lots of fun, whatever. This is that Saturday. And I met Claudia, which is another Hispanic chick. Mexican for sure, to be specific. And they wanted to take pictures with me and whatnot. And then we broke up. And then we seen them again. And was like, hey, y'all the girls from earlier. Because Claudia and like 2 or 3 are homegirls or whatnot. And her and I just ended up exchanging numbers or whatnot. And it was getting like to the morning hours because it's getting like to Saturday nights. And yeah, Kenan had to leave because he wants to be back by Sunday morning to go to church. And so Lance and him jump inside Kenneth's car or whatever. And I was inside with my dad's burgundy truck, you know, the little, well, it's my truck now, you know, it only sits like 3 people, driver, middle, and right, so no second cab or whatever like that. So we was like, well, hey, I'm gonna put my clothes and Dennis and I clothes inside of your car, inside your back seat or whatever, you know, and like all our bags and stuff, and we'll just get it when we get back to the apartment or whatnot. And Lil Rick, Dennis, and I stayed on the strip, stayed walking the strip, whatever. And the weirdest thing, like I get a call from Kenneth, and he's like, man, I need y'all help. So we're like, so I was like, yeah, he called me. He was like, okay, cool. I was like, where are you? What happened? You know? He said, I'm in between Beaumont and Orange, Texas. He says, I was like, so what happened? Like, why do you need the help, whatever? He was like, I hit a cow. I'm thinking like the ride from Galveston to Lake Charles is straight I-10. Like, how do you hit a cow? You know? And I was like, what? He said he wasn't speeding. Then I knew the rest of the story was bullshit. And he says, because Kendall loves to speed or whatnot. And then I was like, man, it's like a 2 hour. I was thinking this out of my head. I was like, it's a 2 hour drive for us to make it like there. Plus, like the ferry, it's like 2.5 hours. You know. I was like, wouldn't it be closer for us like parents to drive from Lake Charles to like Orange, which is on like an hour and 20 minutes, whatever, in between that little area. And but I was like, yeah. I was like, let me tell Dennis real quick so we could leave. So I told Dennis, and he was like, wait, he hit a cow on I-10? I was like, yeah, he hit a cow on I-10 or whatever. And Dennis was like, okay, let's go or whatnot, you know, because it's getting like the morning hours, the sun died down or whatnot. And so we were like super tired, like, um, and plus that was our last night. We couldn't stay till Sunday because Land's friend said they already left with the key. So we had no chance of seeing it anyway. So we had to leave regardless of the situation, you know. And we get on the ferry, and the ferry is usually like 30 to 45 minutes, you know. And so we're like, okay, cool. We're gonna catch the ferry and get like a 30 minute nap, 30 to 45 minute nap, you know, because you don't have to drive anything. You're on the ship. And dude, it felt like 30 seconds. And next thing I heard, beep, 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 like they was blowing the horn behind us to move, you know, it was knocked out. And so after we get off that ferry, whatever, like that, I wanted to gauge the road because the road was straight. There was no cars on the road. Dennis was knocked out in the passenger seat, and I was like, so I kept letting go on the wheel. I was like, okay, the wheel could stay straight for about like 10 to 20 seconds or whatnot. I was like, if I could close my eyes for 10 to 20 seconds, I'll be okay. And just wake up and then go 10 to 20 seconds, whatever like that. So and the road was clear like for like a mile. And so yeah, I took a nap. And I'm still driving, and I heard da 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 da, and then Dennis woke up and was like, Jay, and I said, man, you was asleep, so I just went to sleep too. And so I want to say it was this year, yeah. So yeah, because Kenny called me and he was like, my dad has came got me, you know, came got Lance and I, because it was way closer, you know, and so we was like, man, we could get like a nap in between this, you know, because it was still like super tired, like park somewhere. And so I was like, okay, this truck stop right here, it looks pretty cool. And then it's like, nah, that's how Michael Jordan dad was killed, and at a truck stop. So we X'd that one out. Not as if it was important enough to get killed at a truck stop, but we just X'd that one out. Then we tried to pull inside this residential neighborhood, um, and we were like, it's probably like a white neighborhood, and they gonna see two black people sleeping inside of a truck. I was like, man, somebody gonna call the cops. So we was like, bro, we just gonna have to thug this one out, you know, like muster up some energy. And so we put on 50 Cent "Get Rich or Die Trying" album, and we stayed awake the whole drive home or whatnot. And then when we get home, we go to sleep, we wake up. Kenny closes in the townhouse, but ours aren't in the townhouse. And I'm like, Kenny, where our clothes at? He was like, oh, we got towed away with the car. I was like, what do you mean? I said, all of our stuff was like right there together. I was like, your dad came and get you. Like, why could you put up our clothes within that one, whatever like that? It was like something like, oh, I wasn't thinking about it, whatever like that. And so we was like mad, you know, because we had to drop back to whatever little city that was. to get the where his car was towed to because they had to tow his car and to get our clothes or whatnot. And I remember Dennis Kendall was on the phone with the lady to the tow truck company, and and what had happened? So Dennis needed to talk to the lady to find like the exact location or whatnot. I want to say, and then Kenneth got, I don't know what made him say this, but he was like, Dennis, this is a big case. Leave me alone, something like that. And Dennis got like extra pissed, and because I don't know what him Kenneth and Lance had going on about making a case about hitting that cow, but when Kenneth hit the cow, he like ramped it, I guess, and I want to say he tore off the branding of the cow. So let's say if there's like four farmers around this interstate, if you tore off the branding, then no one's going to claim the cow, you know, because they have to do the insurance thing or whatnot. And so yeah, Dennis had talked to the lady on the phone about the clothes. He had got the phone and something like that, and yeah, Dennis was heated. But at the end of the day, we ended up getting our clothes from out the car or whatnot. Yeah, that was the whole end of that situation. Eventually, we ended up buying this entertainment center, like this wooden entertainment system for our apartment. We thought it was like the nicest thing ever, you know. Uh, had like plants on each side of it or whatnot. But eventually, like around like February, March, April, so it was after the cap, so around like Mayish, we ended up buying a big screen TV, and it was like one of those 50-inch screen TVs, like with the big back. So it wasn't a flat screen. Flat screens wasn't existing at the time. It was like those big things that could almost damn near take up like half a room or whatever like that. But you like consider rich if you had like a big TV, you know. And I remember the guy at Walmart. It was this heavy set guy. I see his face inside of my head with his braids. It was the Walmart on Nelson. He was like, y'all just got y'all income tax checks, huh? And it was like, nah, we just buying this straight up, you know. And but this year on Dennis' birthday, um, yeah, we went to see Harry Potter. It was I'm gonna chop his name all the way up. The Prisoner of Azkaban. I know it's like Azkaban something like that. And the parking lot was pretty empty because I felt embarrassed. He was like, "Oh, it's my birthday, man. You can come see Harry Potter with me and whatnot." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So seeing the parking lot was pretty empty at the movie theater behind Walmart and whatnot. And I was like, "Okay, nobody gonna see me inside this place, whatever." And come to find out, like the theater was packed because it was filled with kids, their parents that dropped them off. So of course there'd be no cars out in the parking lot because they all got dropped off, you know. And I just couldn't wait to get out of there. Didn't can't tell you anything about that movie. Um, and afterwards we went to the Isle of Capri since it was his 21st birthday. So it was June 4th of 2004. Uh, yeah, went to the casino. Can't say the winners or the losses, whatever happened, you know. But it was Dennis' first time inside the casino. I snuck inside the casino because my birthday was April 30th that year, so I went inside the casino before it. I couldn't wait for Dennis. I wasn't gonna wait for him to turn 21 to go to the casino. Yeah, and I remember this one DVD series was like DVD TV series where you could buy like the whole season of like old shows or new shows or whatever. It was like real huge, you know. So then it's like we don't need any cable. And when we bought that big TV, I want to say we bought like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air season 1 or something like that. And because before then, Dennis was watching this Rocky series like twice a day, like Rocky 1 through 4 or whatever box he had. And I remember Ray got for him. Ray stole it from Walmart and sold it to Dennis, whatnot, whatever. But that was like his favorite thing to watch, like every single day. And I started making good money on the driving the golf court, so I wanted to get cable. So I went to Sudden Link. I had him set up a day. I knew Dennis was gonna be at work, and I had him install it. and I felt Dennis would check one day, like just turn on the TV and like plug in a cable or something and be like, let me see if they have cable here or something. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna let him watching cable TV while I'm at work and he's not paying anything for it. So I cut the cord downstairs, shady stuff. Um, and so Dennis ended up becoming a poker dealer. And he left the buffet, became a poker dealer, and he was making more money too, whatever. And he was like, Jay, I think we can afford to get cable. I was like, I didn't know what to say. You know, I was like, how can I make this work? I'm thinking inside of my head. You know, to make it make sense. And because if we call Suddenlink, they'll say, "Oh, tell us, you know, you already have cable. What do you mean you want to add cable?" So I was like, "Man, this is a confession, bro." I was like, "We've been having cable for a while, and and so I was like, but you kept saying you like the DVDs, so I wasn't gonna stop you from loving your DVDs and make you pay for cable, you know. You told me you didn't really want cable, you know." And so Dennis had to go and repair the wire downstairs so he could watch cable like on the TV downstairs or whatnot. And um, oh yeah, Dennis ended up getting me back for that bingo night. Can't say he got me back, but like we went to the casino and went to Ala Capri, and Dennis was like winning on everything. Like he could close his eyes, throw a chip, and it would just win. Roulette, he win. Craps, he win. And I was like, okay, he about to give all this stuff back because he got so arrogant. He was like, I'm gonna go to slot machines. I'm gonna show you how lucky I am tonight. It was just his night. He was just on fire, you know. And literally everything he touched, he won. And yeah, he put a few dollars inside of a slot machine. He hit it. And then next thing you know, it was showing like 600 credits or 700 credits or whatnot. And I was like, okay, what's that in pennies? You know, probably like 60, 70 bucks, you know? And he was like, no, this is a dollar table. That's $600. I was like, oh, God. Damn. Yeah, of course he didn't split anything with me. Like I didn't split anything with him from the bingo night. But we ended up going to Walmart. And he ended up buying a 55-gallon fish tank. I remember he set it up downstairs. I ended up taking my fish tank from downstairs and sent it to my room upstairs, you know. The random memories. Oh yeah. After that, that this Escalade. It was a 2002 Escalade. It was the new model, you know, and the year before mine. And I wasn't even a valet at this time, but I seen it and it was just so beautiful. I just wanted to drive this thing so badly. And so I went out there and act like I was a valet or whatnot. I mean, I'm in the valet department. You know, I can still park cars or retrieve them when it's not busy. But everybody was busy, and I was like, just having this sort of a like giveaway or something. And I jumped inside of that. I jumped inside of his car, and there's this designated area, like the square, where so like this is a square in between here, you know, like where you park the cars. Like I went around the square just to like show off, to drive around, because we wore like regular like polo shirts, so you really can't tell if I'm a valet or not, you know. And I wanted to look cool, so I ended up pulling up next to this guy in the Tahoe, and he was to the right of me, and like I'm just sitting there jamming the music like it's my Escalade, you know. And I gave him this look like what's up, you know. Like, yeah, I see you saw that little Tahoe, you know, but I'm like, this big Escalade, you know, it wasn't mine, just friend. Um, then all of a sudden, the Tahoe guy was like pretty impressed. He was like, okay, you know, and then I just kept moving my head to the movement, to the music or whatnot, you know. And then next thing you know, while I'm standing there, I'm like sitting there inside of this Escalade, and he's inside of this Tahoe. The guy, the owner of the Escalade, was walking back towards the Escalade because it was like he wants to go to the buffet, but it's like I think the buffet line was like too long, you know. And so, so yeah, I looked like a total idiot because I had to get out of the Escalade, give him his keys and his ticket, whatever, and I had to walk back to the valet thing. Yeah, probably a big relief for the guy in the Tahoe. Probably laughing at me, but whatever. You know, I want to look cool for that moment. Uh, I bought some sock and bottom gloves, and that was at summer, and we decided to have like a fight night, and like some people from work came over, and we were boxing inside like the backyard at our townhouse, or whatever. So it was at least about like 8 to 10 guys there, and everybody held their own. You know, I held my own, Dennis held his own or whatnot, and they were like box each other. And Kenan wanted to jump inside of it, and he was fighting this guy named I want to say his name Marcus. Marcus is some skinny guy, tall, like just long arms, like Jesus Christ, because he's probably like 6'1", 6'2", or whatnot, and yeah, Kenan got waxed, like he got cooked. And Ken, I remember Kendall kept slipping, you know, and he kept blaming it on because his shoes or whatnot, whatever, you know. But it just totally wasn't fair because Kendall didn't nearly have the reach this guy Marcus had, whatever. And speaking of boxing, Dennis used to play Fight Night, this video game, and that this blonde haired cat, like he just couldn't beat. I was watching, like laugh at him, like getting waxed in the video game by this guy. Because Dennis will come out, he accumulated every single thing. Like he had like 2 cars, a Las Vegas showroom girl, like a rapper coming out with him, like the best music. And this guy with this blonde hair would walk out with just him and his trainer, you know, just looking poor, and he would just wax Dennis every single time. We started playing the laughing game with Dave Chappelle. Whoever laughed first, we had like a bunch of stupid little games. Whoever laughed first would lose. I remember Byron that came over that night, and yeah, I want to say Dennis. Dennis was probably the first one out because I was watching the first season of Dave Chappelle. I want to say it was the the Real World episode. And when that guy had the green eyes in the corner, I ain't going into detail, but that was a funny part. Yeah. And I remember we would play Wheel of Fortune, and I remember Ken was on the phone with this girl he knew from 4th Street. Was she from 4th Street? Yeah, 4th Street, named Keisha. Uh, and Ken asked her a question, because we were playing 3-way Wheel of Fortune, all the characters, Dennis versus me versus Ken and whatnot. And then Ken was like, Ken asked a question while he was on the phone because he wants to look cool. Yeah, whatever, laughing and joking, you know. And then he was like, Keisha, what vowel should I buy? And then it was like a long pause. And then next thing you know, we heard, Keisha, that's not a vowel. And then the side just bust out laughing. She probably wasn't the brightest of people, you know, but whatever, you know. And Dennis and I still to this day have no clue what letter she told him. It's probably W. She probably thought 2 U's. I don't know. I don't know. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll say W. She probably thought it was super house, a double and a U. Yeah, but that was a pretty funny little moment. I remember my grandmother on my mother's side, my mom, she passed away this year. Um, I loved it, but I really wasn't that close to her because I had beef with my grandfather, Big Daddy, because he was like this real stubborn, strict guy. Which he probably had his reasons, you know, whatever like that. But yeah, I didn't like really like visiting there. But I know she was like a really sweet soul. I remember when my mother and I visited her in the hospital, and she told me to get married to kids before I turned 40. I'm still 39. I got married, but kids dropping out of here. Yeah. And yeah, that was my 2003 2004 episode.